and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to be talking about my favorite and least favorite books of 2020. Now, when I'm filming this, it is December 3rd, so technically there is still a month worth of books that I could read for this list, but whatever, we're just going to do it because I just have 4 books of each category I want to talk about. I have read 99 books thus far this year, so there is obviously a lot more that could be put on this list. I will be doing a tier ranking video of all the books I read in 2020 closer to the end of December, beginning of January, so you'll be able to hear all my thoughts on all the books, which I am so excited for that video. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the books I really hated and the books I really loved. Let's start with the least favorite books so we can get that out of the way and end the video on a good note of favorite books. So first is a recent read, and this isn't a book that I hated of all time, but I definitely was super disappointed in it, and that is Tremaine's True Love by Grace Burrows. Now, the first half of this book I really enjoyed. The second half was a no-go for me. So I went into this book with really high hopes because the main heroine is a healer, or, you know, a nurse almost. She helped deliver a baby in the first chapter. She, you know, has always been the person that helps the poor people too heal. She, you know, makes tonics and medicines and teaches them how to take care of themselves and all that. And I was just so excited because I have not found any books where that is a thing except for Outlander, and that's, you know, that's not a main component of Outlander. So I was so excited to have a heroine who was a healer because that is something I really want to read about in a historical romance. And that, I mean, it was interesting and there was accurate information in there and all that. And then the hero was like kind of boring, but he was there and he wasn't that bad until the end. And this is I'm gonna have some spoilers for this book. I might not for the others. But I just have a feeling not a lot of you are gonna go read this. He asked her, once they were kind of together and he, you know, was proposing marriage and all that, he just expected her to give up her career of healing. I know it's not quite a career, it's a historical setting and she was a woman, so God forbid she have a career, but he was like, oh, when we're married, you can just stop doing that. And she's like, what if I don't want to stop? And he's like, but there's so much disease and sickness to these places you go. You could get sick. She's like, yeah, but who else is going to help them? And they literally broke up, like, on that because of that. And then he had a change of heart. He changed his mind, and I was like, fine, whatever, you were stupid in the first place, but you know, maybe this can work out. But then in the end, she was like, oh wait, never mind, you're right, I'm gonna give up all of the things that I have done my whole life, my passion for caring for other people, just so I can be with you, the boring man who sells sheep. And I just hated it. I hated it. And if you'd like to go, it was a recent reading vlog, you could go look at it. I literally think I talked for like 7 minutes about it because it's just so stupid. She gave up her own passion in life and all of that just for him, and he wasn't even interesting, and I wasn't a fan. And that's on top of the fact that I didn't understand half the book because the character relationships, like literally like the family tree, was so complicated, and maybe I'm just dumb, I don't know, but I didn't understand anything in it. So it was a big flop for me. And if it had just been a flop, it would have been one thing, but I was so excited for it because the back of the book described how she was like a healer, she cared for people, and I was like, oh, maybe this will finally be the book that I've been wanting to read. But it wasn't, so I'm getting to the point where maybe I just have to write my own. I have to write my own healer romance. Next on my list of most hated books is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, which this might surprise some people because this has an average of 4.06 stars on Goodreads out of 67,000 ratings. So it is a very popular and very loved book. I think I just don't like thrillers, if I'm being honest. I think that's the problem, because the other ones I've read I have not liked at all either. So maybe I just don't like thrillers, but I keep reading them because I like Criminal Minds and like crime shows, so why wouldn't I like these? This book was just stupid though. I'm sorry. If you like any of these books, go on liking them. It's okay. We can totally like different books. It's fine. But this book, the first half had me going. I was like, wow, this is super interesting. And like, I wonder if it's like this super creepy serial killer who like has these rituals where he only kills every so often years, and you know, he has the demographic of young kids, young girls. Like, this could be really interesting. But no, it was the dumbest ending I have ever read. And this is already, like, I hated all the characters in this book because they were all dumb and annoying, but I was like, I can get past that if we've got a really cool serial killer twist ending. No. The ending, I'm sorry, it was so dumb. It was so dumb, and I'm not going to spoil it because it's a big twist, and like, this one's so much more popular, you might want to read it. I just thought, like, it made no sense. It was not plausible or realistic. If you're going to write a psychological thriller that doesn't have a mystical element, then it needs to be realistic to something that could happen in real life. And this was not it. Like, I was so set on having this super cool Criminal Minds ending, and this was like a cheesy, like C-rated movie where the evil high school girl is the villain, and it was just so boring. It was so boring. By the time I was like halfway through, I was getting so bored. I literally like bumped it up to 3 times speed because I just wanted to get it over with. This is one of those books where I like probably could have DNF'd it and never thought about it again, but I powered through and it wasn't worth it. Next, and I have a feeling this is going to be on a lot of people's worst books of the year lists, and that is The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. It physically pains me to put this on the list because I love Kiera Cass. I've read all of her other books. I reread the Selection series, the first 3, this summer in literally 3 days, and I even liked The Siren, which I know a lot of people didn't like. I've loved all of them, but this book, like, what was she on when she wrote this? I'm concerned. The first half of this book, or like not even the whole first half, but like the beginning, I was like, okay, maybe we could go somewhere with this. But it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. And there's a sequel too, and part of me, I'm like, should I read it? Just to see what happens, but I don't think I could put myself through that. The main character, Hollis, first of all, had no personality. Not a single ounce of personality. And I feel so badly being so mean about it because I love Kiera Cass. I'm really sorry, but she didn't have a personality. And then she was in love with the king, and he didn't have a personality either. And he was just kind of creepy. I did not get good vibes from him, and I was kind of right in the end. I'm not really sure. It was very unclear. And then she had this best friend, no personality except being evil. That was her personality. And not even like, haha, I'm gonna take over the kingdom evil. Just like basic, like, girl on girl hate evil. And I was like, this was very unnecessary to include in the story. I do not like it when you pit girls against each other like that. But she did what she did, and I thought it was stupid. And then when the second love interest was introduced, I was like, okay, maybe this could save the story because he's really interesting. He has a little bit of a personality, not a lot, but he's there. And I was like, okay, we could do something with this. So the end of The Betrothed was just absolutely wild and made no sense to me. Like, she did that, and it was stupid. I didn't like it. I'm really sorry. On to the last of my least favorites, because I gotta get talking faster because my SD card is full and my battery is dying. One of my most disappointing reads of the year, which I am so bummed about, is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Now, I didn't hate this one as much as the others, because I still appreciate Suzanne Collins' writing a lot. She is an incredible writer. But there was absolutely no reason for this book to exist. It didn't need to happen. It did not need to happen. And I have literally a 40-minute reading vlog on this book, so if you want to hear more of my in-depth thoughts, they're there. I'll link it below. This book didn't need to exist. It was so dumb because I didn't need to know more about Snow. I didn't. I gained nothing from this book. I did like seeing these games, the early on games of these people who still remember what it was like before the games were invented. But I didn't want that story from Snow's point of view. It could have been from one of the other characters if she wanted to do this year specifically, or, as I've said, and you will hear me say a lot more times, she should have done a Hey Mitch prequel. No one cares about Snow. No one. And I did not care any more about Snow, and I have earned nothing by learning more about him. But Haymitch, if I had known more of his backstory, learned about all of his pain and what that meant for him when he was helping Katniss, my idea of the Hunger Games world could have expanded so much, because I don't know if you've ever looked up what Haymitch went through in his games, but it's absolutely insane. He was in a quarter quell, and I believe the one he was in is where there were double the victors, or like double the tributes. So he killed double the amount of people, and he won by using the force field just like they do in Catching Fire. That's how he knew about that later. And then because the Capitol was mad at him for using the force field, they killed his entire family and his girlfriend back home. Can you imagine reading that first person, understanding what Haymitch went through? I'm really mad. I'm really mad at Suzanne Collins. You can't just disappear from the world, come back, drop this trash book, and not tell Haymitch's story. He deserves his story to be told. I get really angry about this. But the love story in it was not believable whatsoever. I just was really bored. It was not good. It was not good. I'm sorry. I did like all the little bit of references to the Hunger Games with the hanging tree and stuff, but other than that, a big waste of my time. Now on to my favorite books of the year, which is going to be a lot more happy, and the very first one is The Rogue of Fifth Avenue by Joanna Shupe. This was the first historical romance I read this year, and only the second one I've ever read, and I fell completely in love with Joanna Shupe's writing, with these characters, with the Gilded Age New York setting. It was just absolutely incredible. I love this book. I love this series. I love Joanna Shupe. It was so good to see these characters slowly fall for each other against the backdrop of New York as she fights for being a more independent woman. She doesn't want to do what her father tells her to do just because she's a woman. It was just so good. It was so good, and I cannot wait to continue reading books on Joanna Shupe's backlist. Next, another historical romance. There's a lot of books that could have fit this favorite books list. I had a hard time narrowing it down to 4. I honestly just chose the first 4 that came to mind, but How to Dance with a Duke by Amanda Collins was another favorite. I really enjoyed this historical romance because it had one of my favorite tropes, which is the blue stocking girl, meaning that she is of education, she is academic, she wants to study archaeology, specifically Egyptian archaeology, and she needs a husband to do that, so she just kind of picks one and goes on from there, and she actually falls in love with this guy, and they are also at the same time trying to solve this mystery of his missing brother. He went missing on her father's expedition to Egypt, and so they are trying to solve that. She's trying to help her father, who just had a stroke, and trying to still learn more about Egyptian mythology and all that, and it's just so interesting, and it actually quite gives me the vibes of Stalking Jack the Ripper, which is probably why I loved it so much. And speaking of Stalking Jack the Ripper, one of my other favorites this year was Capturing the Devil by Carrie Maniscalco. It is the finale to the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Honestly, it feels like I read this 12 years ago, but I read it in like January, February. Does anyone remember January and February? I don't. But this book was such a fun finale to the series. There were so many dramatic twists and turns within the personal lives of Audrey, Rose, and Thomas that they killed me. They were so good. I loved it. And then the mystery in this one was really good as well. I didn't love Escaping from Houdini, that mystery, but this one really brought it back. It was so good. They were in the Chicago World Fair and had the America's First Serial Killer case, and it was incredible. It was super scary at the end by my standards, and it was so well written, so adventurous, and I just love Audrey and Thomas so much. She is probably one of my favorite characters of all time. I really, really adored it. And lastly, to absolutely no one's surprise, my favorite book of the year, I can say definitively, was Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer, because it's Twilight. It's Twilight. I could not have asked for a better time for this book to come out, because we've all been waiting for this for how long? For years and years and years. And I had no reservations that it would like ever happen. I just thought, you know, because she was so betrayed when the original like first half of the book or whatever was leaked, that she had shelved it and would never think about it again. But I remember waking up and seeing that like she had this countdown on her website, and I was like, oh, I was thinking a sequel to The Host. That was my guess, but I didn't know. And like I had like a kernel of hope. I'm like, oh, maybe it'll be Midnight Sun, but it probably won't. And then like 2 days later or whatever, first thing I did when I woke up was check her website, and it was down. It was crashed. So I went to Instagram and I'm like, people, what is it? And it was Midnight Sun, and there's this cover with the pomegranate, which I love, and I lost it. And the book did not disappoint. It was absolutely incredible. I was already full into the Twilight Renaissance on TikTok, and this was just the cherry on top. I got all my merch. I wore my Alice necklace. I was wearing my Twilight shirt. Like, it was just the best time. Waiting for that book to come in the mail, reading the whole thing in 2 days. Like, I cried, I laughed. It was just so amazing. It was so amazing. And I just loved seeing the story from Edward's point of view, because it explained so much too. Like how he thinks and how he rationalized his experience in the first book was it was so good. It was so good. And he thinks a lot how I think, and that's how Stephenie Meyer described it too. She's like, I don't think I could ever write the other books from his point of view, because being in his mind is like a magnifying glass on my mind, and I can't do that, which, girl, same. I loved it though. I've already read it again. I listened to the audiobook to listen to Jake Abel read it. Fantastic, by the way. And I really loved it, and I just honestly want to read it again. I do. It's just so good, and I love Edward, and I love Bella, and it was just so beautiful. And to see the end, that's what killed me the most probably. Well, I loved the flashbacks, like, so good. And then it's so clear by the end of the story that Edward is going to make the choices he makes in New Moon. He's already decided by the end of Twilight. He knows that's where this is going, that he has to leave. And it was just so painful. And the car chase scene, oh, it was so good. It was so good. The whole book was amazing, and I literally don't care what anyone else has to say. It is the book that brought me the absolute most joy this year, and it came at a time when we really needed it. It was announced, I think, in April or May, which was, you know, the height of quarantine. And like I was super stressed with school and like all this, and then Midnight Sun was announced and I lost it. And then it came in August when it really felt like quarantine had been going on forever, and it's obviously still going on, but it was the highlight of my year, and I'm just so happy that she did that for us and released this book, and it has just brought me the most joy. So that's definitely #1 on my list this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Obviously, like I said, maybe I'll go on in December and read my new favorite book, although I guarantee you nothing's beating Midnight Sun. But I am so happy with my reading this year. I got a lot done. I read a lot of new favorites. I really dived into the romance genre and let myself just love these books because I loved them. I didn't have to qualify it, be like, oh, I really like this book even though it's just a romance. I don't have to do that. My camera is yelling at me that the battery's dead. But anyway, there was lots of books I loved. I had a really great reading year. I hope you liked this video. I hope you come back for more of my December videos I have planned in January, and I hope you liked and enjoyed this video. So like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.